Welcome to the Glenn Mercer Show, where we talk all things vegan. If you're not already vegan, no worries, we'll get you there. If you are, tune in for health advice, information on climate change, and all the damage done by our most destructive industry, animal agriculture. We'll also talk cooking, theater, film, and culture. My 2 reasons for starting this podcast: to entertain, to inform, and to make people vegan. Oh, that's 3. Shit. Welcome to the Glenn Mercer Show. You can find us across all your favorite podcast platforms. You can find us on YouTube, and please remember to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. We don't call you up. We don't email you. We don't ring your doorbell. Just subscribe. And you can find us at realmeneatplants.com. My guest today is Gigi Jones. Gigi is the owner of Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe. She healed herself from colon cancer, so we're going to hear that story. She's a food activist in Kansas City, and she's a founding member of the Kansas City Health Initiative that brings vegan food to low-income communities. Gigi, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here this evening. A little after your time.
All right, now, can we get a close-up of those earrings?
Yes.
So it says Gigi
the vegan.
Now, here's the question for you.
Gigi the vegan.
Here's the question for you, Gigi. Did you go into a jewelry store and find those and say, oh, those are perfect for me? It says Gigi the vegan, or were they specially made?
They were specially made for me by this beautiful young lady in Los Angeles, California, that comes out to my vegan festival I have every year for the last 7 years. And she gave me a gift, gifted me with 10 different pairs.
Wow.
So I don't need to purchase earrings anymore. I just wear these every day, no matter what I'm wearing. Black tie events, these come on, all different colors. Made of wood, 100% sustainable.
Oh, they're wooden earrings.
Yes, they are. And she actually have great talent, as you can see.
Yeah.
I have them made out of bamboo. I have some bamboo ones as well.
Okay.
Yeah, she does a really, really great job. And I just love the fact that they're sustainable and they come from, source.
Yeah. So is she a local Kansas City vegan earring maker?
No, she's actually in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. That's right.
In Los Angeles. And she is from Singapore, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And yeah, she lives there. And every year, like I mentioned, I organize this huge veg festival right here in the Midwest. Who would believe that could be a veg festival in Kansas City? Kansas City is known for what? Big beef, right? Animal stock, all of it. Right here, one of the largest veg festivals right here in the Midwest.
How many people show up?
We have about 5,000 people to show up from all around. They come from neighboring cities, from St. Louis, Oklahoma. We do have folks coming out of LA, Chicago. We have visitors from Washington, D.C. So, it's growing and it's growing and growing. We have activists there, animal activists, environmentalists. We even have our sanctuaries, animal sanctuaries come out, and I helped to support them by all of the proceeds going to them as well.
Oh, that's very nice. Now, how long have you had have you had Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe?
Now we're embarking on 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. Who would have thought?
And is it all raw or is it some cooked food?
We have some cooked food, but the majority is raw. The cooked food that we offer here is mostly like soup. Everything else is low temperature in our dehydrators, and everything is majority raw.
Okay, now
living. Should I say? I like saying living foods. Is that okay?
You can say living foods.
Living foods, because I think that there's the stigma with raw food that people think, oh, I'm just going to munch on a carrot or a
Right.
celery or whatever, and that's all that I can eat. But living foods is, uh, it's huge, meaning fruits, vegetables, avocados. Those things are not cooked up, over a temperature of 100 is considered, 97 is raw. Yeah, living foods.
Okay.
Did I do
Well,
okay
my
with that? Yeah.
temperature is 98.6 and I'm
Oh,
living.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
you are nice.
yeah. So, you healed yourself of colon cancer. How long ago was that and how'd you do it?
Oh, well, I tell you this, Glenn, this was in 2015,
Oh, not that long ago.
not that long ago. And everything that I'm doing now was connected. I had no idea that I would be where I am and doing what I'm doing now.
So what was your diet like before you got diagnosed?
Oh, I am a Southern Belle. So
Oh,
my diet consisted of what my mother and my grandmother ate, from fried chicken to, pork chops, mashed potatoes and gravy. And every now and then I have salad, or I would have, green beans and different things like that. But it was a standard diet,
so it was a
just
meat-based diet,
meat-based diet,
fried foods,
fried foods.
very unhealthy, standard Southern diet.
Chips, you name it, I ate it. Because growing up, that's how we ate. And as I became an adult, I ate the same way. It was comforting food. And when I had my children, generational, passed down from generation to generation, which is the generational curse.
How
Yeah.
many children did you have?
I have four sons.
Four sons. Wow. And
Four
so
sons.
did they grow up eating that same kind of Southern food?
They did, considering that, we're a tight-knit family. My
Yeah.
mother was very involved in helping to raise my children and my husband at the time. My grandmother, we're from the South, we're from Arkansas, so everyone is still, involved in that part of the process with your children. And how dare you tell your Southern parents that your kids are not going to eat chicken or whatever it is that they have,
Right.
fried food. No, that's a staple, a Sunday staple in the family. Every Sunday you talk about a lot of fried foods. That's when we have almost like Thanksgiving,
Right.
after Sunday church. This is what we ate.
So were you getting some bad symptoms before you got your diagnosis?
You know, the symptoms was there, but to me, at that time, I was stressed. I had owned a boutique, and there were in this new area in Kansas City where a streetcar was coming through, and the stress with that, because no one could get through my door. Crane sat in front of my business for about 3 years, and that was a lot of stress for me. It
Oh,
just erupted my life, and I didn't know what I was going to do with, business wise, because I was out of so much money, losing money every day, stress behind that. But at the same time, we know what happens. Stress causes you to eat a certain way because you want food to
right.
make you feel good. So there I go again. The diet I had at that time was even worse than what I had prior to that.
So you had a different business then.
Yes, I did.
What kind of business did you have then?
I owned a boutique. I
Okay.
sold women clothes, a fashion boutique.
Okay. So the
Uh,
business was suffering because of
uh,
the street work.
yeah, streetcar. We have a new district that we're, in the process of redeveloping.
Uh-huh.
And I was stuck in that mayhem of a
Yeah.
streetcar coming through, But now it's beautiful. But at that
Well, that's
time,
good.
I suffered. I suffered tremendously. And that just caused a lot of other things to happen in my life. And I really believe that it was a part of that ticking bomb in my body, which was colon cancer at the time. I think that just made things even worse. I don't know how long I had it, but I had it long enough for it to have been the stage that it was in.
What stage was it in?
I was stage 3 hitting stage 4. That's what they,
Wow.
yeah, that's what I was in.
What did the doctor tell you to do?
Well, there was a lot of extra tests that needed to be done. There were x-rays that needed to be done. But I think when I received the diagnosis, it was unreal to me because cancer didn't run in my family. Heart disease, diabetes run in my family, obesity, all of these other things run in my family, but that didn't, you know. And for me, it was truly a awakening moment. Number one, I don't know why, Glenn, but it was the stigma that was attached to colon cancer, you know, poop wise. I have this thing with that. You know, I can laugh now, but I was like, how can I tell someone that I have colon cancer? You know, it was the darnest thing to me about, because I was so uneducated. I really never even heard of that. You know, you're breast cancer, all of that. But for me, it was this disconnect with that. And I knew the symptoms. You asked me about the symptoms because of the way that I ate. I was always constipated. I had a lot of bloating. I had a lot of digestive issues, but I never, for some odd reason, you know, isn't that amazing how there's a real disconnect that we associate with the way that we eat and the way we feel?
Right.
It's the craziest thing. But to move on to what you asked me, there was a lot of different, you know, for me, the surgery part, what I needed to do, what they wanted me to do, and how more than likely I would spend about a week or two in the hospital. I would have to have this bag, you know, and my lifestyle was truly going to change.
So the doctor was advising immediate surgery.
Immediate surgery,
Did
because
you do the immediate, did you listen to him? Did you do the surgery?
I did not.
You did not. So you
I
told
did
the
not do this.
doctor, thank you anyway, but I'm not doing it.
That's not what happened. But what
Okay.
happened was, after I had a call to self, Jesus, God, and I sat there with myself and I prayed and I was saying to myself, what am I going to do? I had no one to take care of me. No 4 boys. What? No, they can't take care of their mom. I just didn't want to.
How old were your sons at the time?
I mean, they were 15, 17. They were teenagers. They were just starting their life, you know, chasing girls in college and all of that. But I just didn't want to burden them with taking care of me. And I felt they really couldn't do that. Not wholeheartedly, like it needed to be done. So I don't know. I just had this thing when I went to while I was in the office, I asked the doctor, I said, so what can I do to strengthen my body, to prepare my body for surgery? And when he said nothing, it was something within me that clicked and said, wait a minute, there has to be something. I was a track star, you know,
Were you?
Yeah, so I know that what we do to prepare ourselves before, you know, before tournaments and everything else, you have to prepare the body.
Right. What was your, what did you
Body and
race?
everything else. I
Did
was
you
a distance runner. I could
distance
run
run?
from hours, like I could talk for hours.
How fast could you run the mile?
Oh my gosh. Maybe about less than 3 minutes.
No, you didn't do a 3-minute
I'm quick.
mile. No, you didn't.
Oh, I'm distant. I'm slow.
You were driving. I think you were driving.
Yes, I was driving, but I
Okay.
take my time, you know, I get there, but it takes, you know, I would run. But back to the question that you asked me, you know,
Yeah.
just so that I can explain myself. That was just for me an awakening moment within myself. I just felt my body being in a space of, this isn't right. And because of that, I had no fear really after that, at that moment. I went back and I prayed and I said, you know, God, I just know that there's a better way for me. What is the way? What do I need to do? Should I have surgery or not? And before I planned to do it, you know, I heard the message that if I choose this path, that I would die. And for me, what that meant was strengthen your body, get yourself ready first. If it doesn't work, self-healing, then have surgery.
Okay.
Was-
So basically, the surgeon lost some credibility with you when he said there's nothing you can do to prepare
Absolutely,
yourself.
absolutely,
And you meditated on it, and the voice told you you're gonna strengthen yourself, and then you'll see if you need the surgery.
absolutely.
But how did you know how to strengthen yourself?
I didn't.
Aha.
Just followed. I just had that faith. I just had a little bit of faith and I followed the message, even though my sons, my family, everyone, no, don't do that. Why are you trying to kill yourself? You know, you hear people that love you and they think that is the best for you, or they think they know what's best for you when it's still up to you. It
Right.
has to be up to you.
So your family was weighing in saying you got to listen to the doctor.
Absolutely.
And you're resisting your family. And what do? Do you go to Dr. Google and did you Google what you should do?
I went to Dr. YouTube.
Dr. YouTube.
Dr.
What kind of
YouTube.
YouTube shows did you look at?
Oh my God, it was a lot of craziness. You know within your common sense that this is not going to work, the pineapple diet or this diet to release your body of cancer. But what popped up was the China study.
Okay.
China study, that full documentary was on YouTube, and they showed how you can turn disease on and off by the choices that you make.
Are you talking about forks over knives?
The China study first.
So there was a
That
documentary
was
called The China Study?
there's a
I wasn't aware of that.
Dr. Colin Campbell.
Right, right. But I
He,
didn't know there was a
oh,
documentary called The China Study.
yes, and it's a true study.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, it's his
yes,
Dr. Campbell's
yes,
major work.
exactly. Yeah, that's his mental work. And I watched that, and he showed how you can turn disease off and on by the choices that we make in our diet. And not only that, he did research on African women, zero breast cancer, zero cancer whatsoever, even China. But they noticed that when the rich in China ate fatty foods, then cancer, you know,
Right.
came up. And so then he went to Hawaii and did the same thing and processed foods and all of that. And so through the China study, I had that awakening. But here's the thing, they didn't say how to do it, what to eat, what not to eat, how to, how to. And that was, it was a great documentary. It was one that truly helped me awaken myself to understand that food could be medicine at
Right.
the time. And right after the China study, Hippocrates Health Institute popped up and they talked about we help people help themselves.
So did you go down to Florida?
I did. I went down to Florida. I raised money and I went down to Florida. But when I went to Florida, I was not expecting living foods. I was not expecting to eat raw foods, should I say. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was going to be at like a hospital kind of setting, and that I would have juice and different things like that, maybe some cooked food, but I did not expect my life to be transformed the way it was.
Okay, so how did they transform you at the Hippocrates Institute in Florida? What did they feed you every day? And did they ask you to fast?
They did. And so what I ate mostly was every sprout you can name. I never knew about sprouts. I never knew that there was a broccoli sprout, onion sprout, sunflower sprout, pea sprout. It goes on and on and on. And I
Yeah.
had no idea about sprouting our own food. even nuts and seeds and legumes and all of it. I mean, it was just an amazing transformation for me. And I think, you know, when it comes to healing, it's truly up to us. It's truly up to us, the decision that we make, if in fact that, and it's hard work. It's, you know, I would not tell anyone it's easy, and especially when the food here in America is so addicting and what they put in our foods to make it addicting. But the transformation is up to you.
Right.
I decided to do that.
Right.
Person that never had sprouts and tons of salad mix that I never even heard of, you know, leafy greens from all over the world. And everything, living foods, everything raw.
Exactly. All those sprouts are the proof that it's living foods, right? The broccoli sprouts, the alfalfa. That's why there are no pork sprouts.
That's why.
Because pork, not a living food.
It is not whatsoever.
Yeah. So how long did you stay in Florida and eat those living foods?
I stayed there. My first time staying there was for 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
I stayed 4 weeks. And I felt, you know, when I returned back to Kansas City, I felt that I was out of place. I was out of sort. I could hear things that I couldn't hear before. I can smell smells that I never could before.
All your senses had improved.
Oh my gosh. Not only my senses, the way that I looked at life, the way that I viewed the animals, the way that I viewed the world, consciousness, my love for myself, everything changed. It was like this, I was glowing. I get back, my grandson says, Gigi, you're green. He said, you're all green. What happened to you? And, you know, he said, you know, kids are something else, aren't they? They're amazing. And I get back and he says, I'm green. And they were so happy. They wanted to know everything I ate, what happened. And these little beings, I call my grandchildren at the time, little beings, they were running around calling me Gigi the vegan. And that's where the name comes from.
Now, had you consciously become a vegan?
I had. I wasn't turning.
So when you were in Florida, was there a day when you were in Florida that you said, starting today, I'm a vegan, or did it start even before you went to Florida?
It started when I went to Florida. I never even heard about, many years ago, I heard a young lady say vegan, but I didn't know what it was. When Brian Clemens talked about, he called it vegan, you know, the vegans like this and all of that. So I didn't know. I had no idea. I had no idea. I just knew I was eating plants. But then when he started speaking and what it was and what it's all about, and, you know, and the process of it, then I had this connection. And it took me, I say the first week I stayed for 4 weeks. I felt when I came back to Kansas City, I set up my kitchen. I threw everything out of my homes. I sold all of my leather. I became more conscious about my environment, how I took care of myself, how I took care of my family, how I took care of friends, how I took care of, you know, my business. And with that, I decided to go back to Hippocrates to become a health educator right after, maybe a month after I went back. And I stayed 10 weeks.
All right, if you've ever wanted to show off your plant-based lifestyle and do it in style, here's your chance. We have some of the most amazing t-shirts, hats, accessories, coffee mugs, and more at shop.realmeneatplants.com. We have statement t-shirts that will bring a smile to everyone's face. I love the I Want Tofu Tonight tee. Plus, we have podcast tees, Real Women Eat Plants gear, Real Kids Eat Plants, and Real People Eat Plants, just in case men, women, and kids didn't cover it all. Yeah, we love you and love that you want to show off that healthy lifestyle of yours. Again, check out our high-quality gear at shop.realmeneatplants.com and enjoy.
Wow.
I stayed 10 weeks. I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop.
Now,
I didn't want meat anymore. I had no real symptoms of wanting meat, cravings, nothing. And I believe, one night I had this dream that I was eating this carcass that was, how when most folks take meat home and, it looks great in the package, you don't see the bloody stuff and you just cook it and eat the pus and all of that stuff. I know that's gross right now. And so, but my awakening moment was, I felt I was almost like an animal, just tearing this animal parts up, literally, eating it this way. And my mind was like, oh, so that's what I've been doing. This is what we do unconsciously. That's what we do. And I had this vivid dream to show me what I was doing. And I sobbed. And I said, from that day forward, I would never harm another human being. Less known, they said, well, animals are not human beings, Gigi. Says who? Who says who? I mean, I would never harm another being. I would never do that. And so that's when my life truly changed. And I feel like I let a lot of things, I just released. I released the colon cancer from the stress. I released the colon cancer from what I was doing to myself, my body, what I was doing to the animals, to the world, to the universe, to other people. And once I released that, and I know that the cancer was released from my body, 110%. Not only just because of the food that I was eating, but because of who I became.
well, when you came back to Kansas City, I guess after that second trip to Florida for 10 weeks, was it? Did you then get a scan and discover that the colon cancer
I
was...
did.
What did you discover?
So of course I needed to get this done, not only for myself, but for others as well. And then I felt, okay, I'm strong enough. But I knew within my mind saying, it's done, it's done, it's done. I go back, had the colonoscopy. They're waking me after the colonoscopy. Gigi, we just want to know what's going on. And I'm coming, I'm awakening at this moment. I said, I don't understand. The doctor, sitting there. We see the dye, but we don't see where the tumor is. I said, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm coming through. And they're like, well, the dye is there where the cancer was, but where is it? What did you do? And I
Did
said,
they think you had operated on yourself?
I don't know. I think they did. So they thought maybe, I don't know what they knew I didn't have any surgery, but they knew from the scans, they had charts with them, couldn't figure it out. This was in 2015, they couldn't figure out what happened. And so I decided to go have a second opinion because I wanted this to be like a moment of saying, okay, let's just do this again. Only so that I can hear the next doctor say the same. And
So did you do another colonoscopy or just...
I did. The dye is still in the body. The dye didn't leave me where the cancer was still there, but the cancer wasn't. Cancer was not.
And so did you go back to your original surgeon who wanted to operate?
You know what they wanted to do? The surgeon says, I called them, I sent my chart over, this is this, but this is what he suggested that I do. Every month, I should have a colonoscopy.
Every month?
Every month, because it could come back. We don't know what happened. Every month, we just want to monitor you.
Why not every week?
Right. The second doctor says, no, that's ridiculous. Yeah. The colon is so thin that they could actually puncture it, and you can't
Sure.
have that's a surgery. You cannot have that every month. Why would they even recommend that? And then it was like an aha moment because they know what they want to do. You know, at the end of the day, they didn't make any money, so they have to figure out a way too. So,
Well, I think they were also just shocked and
yeah,
couldn't
very
understand
shocked.
what happened.
Very shocked, very shocked. And I wasn't, because I felt so darn good. I felt so strong. My body was back in a state that has never been, you know, for such a long time, since my teenage years. You know, my digestive system working perfectly. I felt great. I felt amazing. I still do. I can outrun my grandchildren, you know. I feel
Well,
really, I feel
are you
fantastic.
still running that 3-minute mile?
No, I'm not. Not lately, not lately, not lately. But I'm
So,
gonna have to get to that.
how long had you fasted when you were in Florida?
Oh, wow. I fasted for the 21 days.
You did a 21-day fast.
Did a 21
Now,
day
was that a water
free
fast or a juice fast?
juice fast.
And was it mainly
Fast.
vegetable juices?
Their signature juice, which is, you know, the cucumber, celery, and loads of sprouts. They juice all of those. And high doses of vitamin C.
So how many juices were you
Vitamin C.
taking in per day?
Roughly about 6 juices a day.
Mhm.
That's including clean water. That's including some herbs as well as our teas and different things that we would drink there. And I believe as well, you know, we need high doses of vitamin C to help shrink tumors. And so cancer tumors especially. And I was able to receive those treatments. Not only did I receive those treatments, but psychotherapy. That's a main component, you know, to our wellness, because the mental wellness, I had to not only believe that I could do this, you know, that I can heal myself, but not only that, I had to release myself of childhood trauma, some of the trauma that caused this in the first place. And I truly believe a lot of our, you know, when the body is in a disease state, a lot of it because we're off balance with what we're causing to our body because we have not let go of certain anger in our lives or disappointment or whatever happened with us with our parents or divorces and loved ones passing, whatever it may be. But we need help and support with releasing that. When we release that, we release other things in our bodies, especially disease. That's
So did you do some counseling when
I
in
did.
Florida? They have
Psychotherapy.
on their staff
Yes, they have
psychological
staff.
counselors?
Exactly. And I had counseling the first time I went twice a week. Twice a week. And from the counseling, it's not your typical counseling that someone would go and talk to someone. This is pretty aggressive. And they, of course, you're speaking to someone, but at the same time, you're doing some true healing. And they kind of take you back to, they can figure out when your true, I should say, you know, trauma started in your life, you know, stress or whatever it may have caused it. They can actually self-hypnotize you to take you back to that time for you to release it. Takes a little bit of adjusting, but I tell you, it works. That's
Right.
but now I see the difference between, they say there is a difference between counseling and psychotherapy.
Okay.
What do you think, Glenn?
Well, now you said that vitamin C was an important part of the program. What was the source of vitamin C?
So vitamin C has been known, high doses of vitamin C can help shrink cancer tumors. But, you know, certain people sometimes think, oh, I can take this over the counter and so on and so forth. But typically you can't, you have to get it, you know, intravenously. And that was a part of my regimen as well while I
Oh,
was.
you had intravenous vitamin C.
High doses. I was walking around wobbly like a zombie.
So it wasn't apples in the
Oh,
juice.
no fruit whatsoever, none whatsoever. I could not partake in fruit. I had a strict regimen, and that also included, working out. It also included, the infrared sauna. I would spend roughly about 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, roughly almost an hour, I say, per day in the sauna. Because we know infrared sauna heats our body core temperature up, and it actually can reduce, chronic disease and toxins from our body. And then the saltwater pool, and then the cold plunge. So there was a lot of these modalities that was included with my, self-healing, not just food, but there's other, other ways of healing the body.
Now,
Yeah.
was the reason that fruit was excluded because they were trying to keep you more alkaline?
Absolutely. They truly believe that cancer feeds off sugar. And, we are in America, so everything is sweet and packed with sugar, even our fruit. So I couldn't partake in any fruit whatsoever, even blueberries or strawberries or anything like that, which is low sugar, count. But because I was healing, I couldn't partake into anything like that. And that's the thing, when you're healing, there's certain things that you shouldn't eat. You have to stay away from.
Okay.
And that was a part of my regimen as well.
Now that you're healed, do you eat fruit?
I eat blueberries and strawberries. Yeah, I do.
Berries
I
mainly.
eat
You
the
don't.
berry. No, I don't eat any apples or anything like that. I just don't go outside of that. I don't know. It's just that my palate has adapted to that. I still don't eat sugar. I don't know. I'm very limited because we know sugar is in most of our food anyway. But
Right.
I just can't do anything sweet anymore. No salt. Just like here at the cafe, I kind of mimic this space like a mini Hippocrates, because we have sprouts here, sunflower, pea sprouts, broccoli sprouts, cold pressed juice, mostly green juices. We have, living foods. We try not to, only thing that's truly cooked is the soup. We are in Kansas City in the Midwest. It gets cold here. So people are like, Gigi, we need something warm. So we do make soup here as well. So
What kind of soup do you serve?
lentil soup,
All
legume.
right.
Yes, quite delicious.
Now, on your website, it mentions that you have an infrared sauna there too.
Yes, we do.
So I'm trying to picture this. People come in to the
Mm,
cafe for the lentil soup, and then they take their clothes off and go in the sauna. Well, how does this work?
well, you normally have to schedule an appointment, but yes, you can have a juice here or you can have the lentil soup. But the sauna is scheduled time, and then you go in. Yeah, you can spend 30 to 45 minutes in our infrared sauna. And we
So
run.
the sauna is right there in the cafe.
No, it's not in the cafe. It's in a different space.
Oh, it's a different space.
It's
How
in a
far
different
from the
space.
cafe?
Oh, so maybe about a couple of doors down, because our cafe
Oh,
is set up like it's like a house. So I always say welcome home. That's the thing. It's a little blue house right here in Kansas City and Westport. And it just feels like home. But then there's bedroom areas back in your house. This is what it looks like. And then we have a sauna in one area. And then we used to offer infusion therapy here. We had an MD that was on staff. He just moved to Oklahoma, so we're looking to replace that so that we can offer the other modalities as well here
so
too.
you're basically bringing Hippocrates to Kansas City.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm super excited about that.
And are you in touch with your friends at Hippocrates
Yes,
about what you're doing?
I am. Brian spoke at my Veg Fest 2 years back,
Okay.
and I usually take a trip every February to Hippocrates and shake things up because it's Black History Month. And I
Uh-huh.
go just teasing them about what they need to do about Black History Month, because this Black girl is back at Hippocrates doing Black History Month. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I believe that's when we truly, and my focus being in the African American community as well, you know, majority, because we know we're looking at diabetes, we're looking at heart disease, and especially with our children, obesity, heart disease. We have to, I believe, I have to do the work that I do, because I have to change our mind, you know, our mindsets on the way that we eat, and we still eat the same way because it's been passed down a generation to generation. And I believe that it's my job and people like me to break the generational curse. And that's what I'm doing. And
So when you come back glowing and your grandchildren say you're green, what do your sons say? Do your sons say maybe we should start going vegan?
absolutely, I have,
Yeah.
out of the four, I have two that went vegan.
Oh,
I'm
pretty good.
still working, I know. The other two, you know, they're married, they have their own household, they, you know, and I had to, for me, it was such a struggle for me to not understand why they weren't choosing that lifestyle.
What did
But
they say?
I can't eat like that. My wife do not want to eat like that, Mom. I'm trying, and you know, and this is that. They're trying, but they can't, they have, and I say, well, you living for yourself at the end of the day. It's all about loving yourself and loving the environment. I said, but you have to do better for yourself, because I can see their health, what they look like, you know, even though they're handsome men, but you're overweight. You know what I mean? I can see the bellies, both of them. One's a chef. Tease him all the time. He said, Mom, I made all these changes. I'm eating more veggies. I'm eating this. Some days I don't even eat meat at all. And so I'm grateful for them where they are, but I know that they can do better. And
Right.
and I had to release them, because I was holding on to that. I was getting ready. I'm like, wait a minute, Gigi, you can't get sick again carrying these bags, because your children are not making the decision that you've made or sacrifice that you made for your life, for their children. Step back, keep being an example. And
Right.
that's all I
And
can do, being an
and the two who are vegan, tell us about them.
Well, one I named Black Jesus.
His name is Black Jesus. All right.
His name is Black Jesus. He would just shake his head like, oh, I can't believe she's saying this. She says this all the time. I call him that because his gift is in carpentry, but he's a certified electrician. I wasn't looking for this space found me. That is Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe. When the space found me, it wasn't, the ceiling was kind of caving in. It was all office spaces. It didn't look anything like it looks now. And I called the only person that I knew that could turn this into my vision. Open space, all of these little pockets, the wellness area, supplement wall. He needed to build these things. Called him here, and that's what he did. If you could see
So
this,
your son did it.
Black Jesus did. Yes, he did. His name is Darian. I call him Black Jesus. Because he's a carpenter. That's his gift, you know.
Yeah.
He's a carpenter by hand, by trade. But
Okay.
yeah, certified electrician. I'm so proud of him. And he has a family with 3 children. And
Wow.
he's vegan, of course, but his wife isn't. He did it
Oh,
anyway. She eats his food, he says. So he's going to continue his lifestyle. And he loves what he loves it. My
great.
firstborn,
And he's slender, right?
yes, he is. My firstborn, Charles, he works with me here. He's my manager. He's been vegan since day one. When I came back to Kansas City from Hippocrates, he looked at me, he said, okay, I'm in.
Good for him.
Yeah. So he's been vegan ever since. And this year at Midwest Soul Veg Fest, I had both of my sons on the panel about men don't eat meat. So I had this panel, and I wish I would have, Glenn, I wish I would have known about you, what you do. You could have, this would have been a great interview for you to have all these men on this one panel that don't eat meat. I just think it
All
would,
right.
yeah.
Well,
So,
next time that happens,
yeah, I'm
give
going
me
to
some
invite you.
advance warning.
I will. This year we've been asked to move into Kansas City, Kansas territory for our educational veg fest, as well as Little Rock, Arkansas. So we're excited.
Okay.
Yeah, we're excited. So like I mentioned, again, my oldest son, Charles, I did mention about him going vegan earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does he basically eat the same kind of diet you eat?
Yeah, he does. Charles, come wave and say hi.
Oh, Charles, welcome to the
Podcast.
show. Charles.
Here he is, my firstborn, head
Hey,
down.
Charles.
He's vegan.
So Charles, you became a vegan as soon as you saw your mom coming back from Florida, huh?
Yes.
It's like a no-brainer. Sorry, I have my little doggy here. She's barking to get his attention. Sometimes I think she loves him more than she loves me.
Well, you know.
Yeah, so there
So
she
Charles, when you changed and you became a vegan, how big a switch was that for you? Was that difficult?
How big of a switch was it?
Yeah. Had you been eating a lot of meat before and you changed your
Yeah.
life dramatically or what?
Yeah, it was difficult, meaning like I had to
close.
had to get myself off of things that I was, thought was my favorite dish.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just, being
Like-
here. So, and since you just can't stop it right away,
Right.
just did one thing at a time, went to all my favorite places over and over again, read, studied, and then ate everything in the
stop.
house, and then,
just like, okay,
know,
mom, done.
and then,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But
And
if you were
food
to
is-
if you were
okay.
to eat the animal foods now that you used to eat, you think they would taste good now?
No, I don't even look at them the same now.
Yeah.
When I was on the countdown, I would go to places that have they would try to cater to vegans, and I would see the double this and all of the stuff I would pick, and after when I got cleaned up, it just looked like it looked like roadkill to me now. It didn't look the same to me anymore. And I was just like, dang, I used to be like, put this and add on there. It's just, it's not the same anymore. So, yeah,
Now that is a cute animal you're holding there.
yeah.
Yes, she was gifted because the couple could no longer take care of her.
Uh-huh.
And she gifted her to me during that time that I was going through my process with, the cancer. And she was a great,
Oh, she was a cancer companion dog?
yeah, she is. She is. Her name is Lala.
Okay.
Mm,
Well, hey Lala. Nice to see you.
yes. So you didn't know, Glenn, that you were going to have the whole family on
Oh, everybody's.
podcast today. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For
All
sure.
right.
All right.
Nice to see you, Charles.
You too.
I
Cross
was-
paths with you soon.
I was saying to Glenn has this other, how many other networks do you have, Glenn, that you mentioned earlier?
Well, the show is going to be on all the audio podcast platforms like Apple Podcast and so forth.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
I
on
was
YouTube.
thinking- Yeah. Do you have like this men don't eat meat?
Oh, well, Real Men Don't Eat Meat
Yeah, really.
is a website where you can access the podcast to.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Real Men Eat now it's called realmeneatplants.com.
Yes. Okay.
Men Eat
That's
Plants.
what I thought. I got a little
Yeah.
confused myself. Okay.
Realmeneatplants.com.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to send that out too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
to all the real men.
Now, tell me about the Kansas City Health Initiative that brings vegan food to low-income communities.
Well, that started during COVID at that time, because we knew that, you know, the children were out of school, the kids were out of school, they didn't have access to food, and especially in the urban core communities, where you look at, you know, where majority of the food deserts are. And
Mhm.
so we wanted to create an organization where we can go into these areas and feed kids, not only kids, but family, plant-based nutrition. And just so that, you know, to get them to understand that it doesn't have to be, you know, you hear these things, oh, I can't eat that, it's nasty, or it doesn't taste the same, or however, but just to give them that opportunity to try something new. That now, I mean, we're serving roughly about every week, about 100 meals per week out in the community. You know,
That's great.
on, and some days is even more than that, and especially during Thanksgiving. But our initiative, not only within the, you know, within those communities, but also within schools. Because a lot of kids that are going to school don't have, and in the system still charges for breakfast and lunch. And we're excited that we are a resource that we can go into the schools now and serve kids, you know, meals. But we do that also through education. We have an education model that is in place within the Kansas City School District.
Now, is the vegan movement growing in the African American community in the Midwest?
I believe that it has taken off, so it's huge. It's getting bigger. Because when I started at that time, when I came back, no one, I would have workshops and people would come and I would educate them about this lifestyle, and they would say, well, Gigi, I can't stop eating fish, or I can't give up chicken, or I can't give up cheese, or whatever it may be. But then, you know, it started to move, because I believe from creating Midwest Soul Veg Fest, the language was different. You know, we have to use a little different language. We have to make it fun, and we have to make it creative. And now, because of that movement, it is a huge, it's a big community now.
Great.
A huge community. Yeah, I've never seen, I mean, if you come, sometimes, some days, at Veg Fest, I just chuckle, because it is the funniest thing. Not only, you know, it's a huge celebration, but to see all of us in the Midwest cow town at an event, and it's all plants. And we're eating it, you know what I mean? And we're just having fun. It's just magnificent. You know, it's the best thing ever. And
Now,
the
I also see that on your website you have some foods that you sell, like packaged foods, kale, chips,
yes,
that kind of thing.
yes, we make our own kale chips. I've been making those since I got my returning from Florida. I've been making those for a very long time.
And these are no oil kale chips, right?
No oil kale chips, organic kale, you know, organic kale from local farmers. And when we can't get it locally, we do have a garden in the back where we grow the majority of our food here.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So yeah, now we're looking at property to buy, so that we can create a larger farm and be able to help communities, serve more communities, you know, with free food. And that's our overall goal.
So you've got a lot of big plans, huh?
I have a lot of stuff going. I do. I really do. And it's
Tell
not,
us about some of the other plans.
not going to stop.
Are
now.
there going to be more Gigi Wellness cafes?
Oh my gosh, we've just been asked. We have a huge meeting with a representative in Iowa, Des Moines, that would be here in December 2nd. They want us to open a new space there. And then of course,
Wow.
Ryan wants us to be in Florida. But I'm working on a wellness center here. I'm looking at this 108-year-old home. I mean, that has been kept well. 8 bedrooms, and I want to create the space when people are traveling to Kansas City and they want to stay at a space where they can have cold pressed juice or, plant-based nutrition with infrared sauna, saltwater pool. You can do that, or you can come for a mini retreat, stay a week, stay a weekend. It's totally up to you. And that's now I want to start a fundraiser and hopefully this happens. So that's my prayer.
Wow. All right. Well, if any entrepreneurs are listening out there, you could contact Gigi at Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe, right?
Yes, that's right.
And invest in a vegan retreat and wellness spa in Kansas City.
Absolutely. 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 They can actually reach us, like you mentioned, also on all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn under Gigi the Vegan or Gigi's Vegan and Wellness Cafe. You can reach us. Can I give out the phone number as well if they want to call the cafe? You're welcome
Well,
to.
I guess so. Go ahead.
If you're one of those people that still love using the phone and making phone calls.
But maybe you'd be better off just giving an email address.
Yeah. So the email address is Gigi, the vegan @gmail.com. And that's Gigi the vegan @gmail.com. It'll come directly to me or info @gigivegancafe.com.
That's right. And the
Yeah.
website is
gigivegancafe.com.
gigivegancafe.com.
Or
Anyone who's within driving distance of Kansas City, get over there. Have the lentil soup. Take off your clothes and get in the sauna. Just, do things appropriate.
Absolutely. Right here in Kansas City, Missouri, 1103 Westport Road.
Okay. Well, I will stop by the next time I'm in Kansas City.
Please do. Please do. We would love to see you. We treat you like royalty.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Gigi, it's been a pleasure meeting you. It's a spectacular story you have. It's an inspiring story. And, it just shows that the route to healing is through plants.
Absolutely. It truly is.
All right.
We've been, my little slogan is, of course, we know let food be their medicine, but healing our body one plant at a time. And that's what it truly does.
That's absolutely true. All right. We'll see you soon, Gigi.
Thank you.
This has been the Glenn Mercer Show, where everyone listening turns vegan, regains their health, and annoys their friends and relatives. Find us on YouTube at The Glenn Mercer Show and across all your major podcast platforms. Don't forget to subscribe.